Hello, welcome back to the channel. This is Liz and Let Grow. My name is Liz, and today I'm going to show you my seedlings. A couple weeks ago, I planted a bunch of seeds and I want to show you how they're doing. I also have more. I have more seeds because I have more room up here and I could not resist. So there was a couple things that couple perennials that I still want to have in my rotation, also a little bit more annuals, because the deal with perennials is that in the first couple years, I think in the first year, you're not guaranteed blooms because they're really just setting foliage, they're getting their root system developed, so you don't really expect blooms the first year. And some plants are actually biennial, so every other year they'll flower. And sometimes those will drop seeds, like foxgloves are biennial, I think, unless you get a very specific variety. But those are biennial, so every 2 years they will bloom. But anyway, I'm gonna show you my seedling progress. I'm also going to overlay what those seedlings looked like. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, it's January 29th, and I'm just watering in my seedlings. And look what I see. My dahlias have sprouted. Are you kidding me? It's been like a few days. Oh my gosh, you guys, if dahlias are this easy to grow from seed, why are we worrying about tubers? Oh my goodness. Oh wow, there's some zinnias. Some zinnias are up as well. Over here, my statice is also sprouted. These are just surface sown, so you can see they kind of look a little squirrely. There's a little hollyhock up there, a couple little sprouts, and there are some ornamental grass seeds sprouting up as well. All right, little seedling update. It is January 31st. We've got 4 72 cells trays down here. Got 4 8 morning glory. These are columbine, and then there's some basil back there. But let's start over here. It's all already sprouted. Pretty good germination rate. The seeds aren't old, so I expected that. Got 3 rows of statice. What do we have here? We have yarrow, 8 rows. There's some yarrow right there. You see the little itty bitty green. And the humidity domes will stay on until every cell, or just about, has germinated, because that does help with the germination. So all these are snapdragon, and I don't see, you know what? Actually, I see some tiny little, you can see those, they almost look like little worms or something in there, but those are snapdragons. So I have 6 rows of those. And then here I have straw flower, king size. Those are doing really well, germinated. Here I have my crespedia, and those are doing pretty well. We've got pink and orange zinnias back here. And then there's the dahlias, which are doing really well. We have hollyhock, which are doing really well. These are like a Canadian wildflower mix. So they're gonna have different germination rates because there's just a whole bunch of mixed seeds. And a couple of those have popped up already. These are my morning glory seeds. They're supposed to be a little bit deeper, and I was able to see the seed, so I kind of covered it back up, but I did see that they had germinated. My columbine hasn't done anything. So, and then my basil seeds these ones are really old, so I'm gonna wait a couple more days, but then I'm probably just gonna sow on top of it. Let me show you what my seedlings look like now. So excited. And then we're gonna get to planting more because we can. So these 3 rows here on the end are statice, and this is the cotton candy blend. So we're gonna be getting a couple different colors. So the next 8 rows we have are the Colorado blend yarrow, and I did 8 rows of those. and all except this one, this back row here. I forget what I put in here, but they haven't germinated yet, so I left a piece of plastic wrap over the top just so that those will have a little bit more moisture in order to germinate. The crespedia, they're also called the drumstick flower. They're gonna look like that. The seedlings look really good. Here we have snapdragon. I have 6 rows of the snapdragons, and those are the tall maximum blend. Oh, these are a perennial. Interesting. I thought they were an annual. But the seedlings look really healthy. All right, next we have the straw flower king size, which are these cuties here. And that's what they're gonna look like. King size silvery rose, tender perennial, so grown as an annual, so we'll see if they come back. These were pink and orange zinnia seeds that I saved from my own flowers. And I think I have 6 rows, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plants and 5 cells have sprouted. I did buy more zinnia seeds. I might be sowing them in here just so that I don't waste all of its real estate. All right, the next 3 rows we have are a dahlia mix. They look like that, decorative double blend. These are tender perennials, so most likely an annual. And then you can save the tubers if they're big enough, bring them inside. But look, they've already got their second set of leaves and they're looking really healthy. Look at that, little dahlia leaves. So these are like the true leaves. So those look really good. The last 3 rows in this seed tray are the lupines. This is a Russell mixture my sister got from PEI, from the Green Gables gift shop. If you know, you know. Isn't that so sweet? So the lupines are coming along quite nicely. They're germinating a little bit slower. They take a little bit longer. In these 3 rows here, we have the Canadian wildflower mix, also from Prince Edward Island, Green Gables gift shop. Thank you, Ginny. And I believe there are lupines in here. I don't know that it says, but I think I read online that there are lupines. This is definitely, right here, a little lupin. Look at that. And that is definitely a little lupin foliage, so that's very exciting. Ornamental grass is coming up. One of them didn't germinate, so maybe I'll throw a couple extra in there. And these are my hollyhocks, 3.5 rows of hollyhocks. One of them didn't germinate, but again, I have doubles in a couple of them. Hollyhock seeds are pretty large. Those are a lot easier to plant singly. And wow, look at the germination rate on that one was incredible. What did I plant? I planted impatiens, which were a little bit old, and I remember them taking a little while to germinate last year, so I'm going to be really patient and not give up on them entirely. So I still have them covered. They're surface sown, so they're just, directly, they have access to light. And then the plastic just makes it so that the moisture is kind of trapped in there. You want to keep the seed moist so that it doesn't dry out when it's trying to germinate. So this is what the impatiens look like. They're these beautiful mounding flowers, and you can buy these at your garden centers as well, already in pots, and you just plant them up and they mound to about, I think like a foot across. Yeah, they form a 12-inch tall and wide mound that blooms exuberantly until frost. Irresistible planted en masse, and I must say that they really are. So this is columbine, and these are seeds that I collected from my friend's mom's garden back in Idaho. I think it was, if I'm remembering correctly, this beautiful purple columbine. So the seeds were taking a while to germinate, and I was a little worried, but if you can kind of see, I'm going to try to show you, and you can kind of see a little bit of white peeking through. There's another one here, right there. A little bit of white poking through, which is great because that means that the outer part of the seed has remained moist long enough so that it's going to germinate. The last seedling update that I have for you is this sad little tray of basil. I have one little basil popping up. I did reseed with some newer seeds because I had some older seeds that weren't doing anything. So I'm just going to keep popping more and more seeds in here until I have enough basil to make enough pesto for the neighborhood. And thus concludes the seedling update. Isn't that So exciting. So I went out and I purchased more seeds. There's this store close to me. I guess it's in our area at also like New Jersey, New York. It's called Ocean State Job Lot, and they have a ton of seeds. And the most important thing is they're packed for 2025, so they're not old seeds. Because a lot of discount seeds, they're going to be older. The cheapest one was $1.19 for the Johnny Jump Ups, or the violas and the pansies, and then the most expensive one was, I think, $1.67. So not very much. Anyway, I bought more seeds, and I bought a bigger seed tray. So my idea with the bigger seed tray here is that it has a large pot. There's only 18 pots, obviously. It is going to be the same size as the 72 cell seed pot, which is great. I'm excited about these because I won't have to up pot a lot of my seeds, because with these, when they outgrow these, you pot them up into like a 4-inch container. These are actually 3-inch containers. So I think I can get away with growing them up bigger in here and not having to up pot them. It says that they're also good for like bigger veggies, you know, like pumpkins, squash, stuff like that. I don't start those inside typically because they germinate so quickly for me. Like when I throw them in the ground, it's like the next day they're up and they have 2 leaves. It's wild. I also live in a very rural agricultural community in almost upstate New York, so that's kind of to be expected. And I also use my own compost, and I do no dig method. I will do more on that later. It is almost free, so highly recommend. And I did have some questions on that, so I think I'll do another video where I kind of go into how to start a garden, how to like lay out a bed for little to nothing with just some sweat equity. So anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to fill these with pre-moistened soil, and then I'm just going to go over what I will be putting in them. So I did go over this in my first seed starting video, but you do want to pre-moisten your soil before you put your seeds in there, because the first time you water your seed, you're kind of just watering them in. You're not trying to soak all of the soil. What that can do also for a lot of the perennials that you're surface sowing, if they do need to be surface sown, it can disturb them and it could just almost completely wash them away. So you didn't want that to happen. So in here, I actually have about half seed starting mix and about half regular potting soil. I was watching some garden influencer on Instagram, and she was saying how she doesn't bother with seed starting mix. I was like, wow, I want to be that confident. So anyway, I'm going to be filling my tray. So let's just go through the seeds that I just purchased for not very much money. I'm going to tell you how much I spent on them. And I'm just going to show you that you can get so many plants from a little packet of seeds. The ones that I'm going to be planting in here, I'm going to be doing super heavily because I'm just planning on dividing them. Not super heavily, not like a carpet, but closer together than feels comfortable. The first one is, I have never heard of this. It's called aubrietta, which I want to say like Italian, like aubrietta. It's called white wall gem. It's a perennial. And let's see. This was $1.67. So for $1, oh my goodness, the seeds feel non-existent. So that makes me think that they're smaller than poppy seeds. Like, yeah, I can barely feel them in here, so that's exciting. Anyway, these take 365 days to bloom, which means I'm not going to see any blooms this year. This year is going to be all about root development. It's going to be about foliage and not bothering to put out any blossoms. So let's see, 1-inch purple flowers on low spreading plants, good for rock gardens, perennial, zone 4 through 7. These are 6 inches in height. We're going to sow them at a 1/4 inch depth for optimum performance. Shear back plants after flowering, blooms in spring. So cold tolerant plants bloom in spring. So I'm really excited about this one to see what it does, and that I'm going to get masses of blooms and hopefully it spreads. And that's the first one. Actually, we're just going to plant as we go because I'm impatient. And I'm just going to remove a little bit of the soil, about that much. Doesn't need to be very much. They need to be barely covered. So I think I put about half. I put about half of the seeds. So I'm going to put these back and I'm hopefully gonna sow some of these outside as well. So I'm gonna put a little bit of the soil back on top and firm gently. That is my arboreata. I didn't show this in the last video, but this is how I made a couple of my plant tags. I just took a plastic container, I just cut little strips out of it. There we go. There's the arboreata, and we're gonna water all these in at the end. All right, so the next one we're going to be doing is delphinium. These are beautiful. Typically, these are very tall, spiky flowers, and if you're looking for a cottage garden, this is definitely with like foxglove, delphinium, hollyhock. Those are going to be your main, very cottage core garden vibes. So, but these delphiniums, they're actually shorter because I don't want to be staking up flowers. I don't want to have to worry about them falling over and drooping or whatever. So these are semi-dwarf. So they're 30 inches in height. So they're not super short, but they're not, 3 feet tall. So it says showy in borders. These semi-dwarf plants need no staking. Perennial, zones 3 through 7. I believe plant maybe 2 of these because these would be really nice. And these are a perennial. And these are in a mix of Fantasia colors, so like blues, purples, whites. Tell me what your guys' garden plans are. I know some of you who watch are not gardeners, and can I just tell you, I was not a gardener like 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and let me tell you, it is one of the best hobbies that I've ever picked up. Anyway, so these need to be 1/8 inch depth, and so I'm going to do these 2 here. So I'm just going to take off just barely any soil. I'm just going to sprinkle them in there. All right, we're going to cover them up with just barely any soil and then firm lightly. And like I said, at the end, we're going to be misting everything in. Stay tuned for the most satisfying mister that I've ever misted with. I'm going to put that there and then leave that one unlabeled. The next one that we're going to be doing are 2 kinds of zinnias. So we have a candy striped zinnia and Oklahoma white. So the Oklahoma white are spotless white, 1.5 inch fully double blooms, have good resistance to powdery mildew. Candy cane striped zinnia, which are so cool. These are large 4.5 inch, holy cow. These are 1.5 inch, and these are going to be 4.5 inch flowers. I did not realize that, which is wild. Are white striped with rose or gold flecked with scarlet. Let's sow these. And these are annuals as well. But sometimes they do pop up if you let the seed heads sit there. Sometimes they'll pop back up for you. I'll do 2 cells of the candy cane. This says heirloom, so I guess these are heirloom zinnias. We're gonna do 2 cells of those. I'll put a little soil on the top. All right, the next we're gonna do is the dianthus. This is the perennial. White flowers with magenta rings bloom on low-spreading, mat-like plants. Perennial zones 3 through 9. These need 365 days to bloom as well, so these are also going to be part of the perennials that we're not going to see these flowers till next year. It is amazing planting seeds, though. It really is like an act of faith. 5 pansies and 1 viola. So pansy, this is the Trimardot mixed colors. Extremely free-flowering plants in a wide range of jewel-like colors, some with faces, good for bedding and containers. You'll see these a lot in the spring in like garden centers and grocery stores because these you can actually plant outside. They do tolerate light frost if they've been hardened off. I just did 6. Okay, I guess we're doing 6. I guess we're doing 6 cells of pansies. My subconscious took over, guys. We're going to cover those. All right, the next one we're going to do are an heirloom viola, also called Johnny Jump Ups. These are miniature tricolor flowers of lavender, yellow, and violet. Why does it say annual? I thought these were perennial. I think that they drop their seeds and then they just keep coming. I think that's what happens because my mom has these coming up all over the place and she doesn't plant them. And then we're just going to cover some up. May I present to you the Mesto Mister. Garden Answer put me onto this, and it was worth it was like $27. you will never go back. Once you go mesto, you will never go back. I had a little hand mister thing, but if you're doing it, even just one of these, if you're doing that maybe once or twice a day, killer on whatever muscles these use and the tendons and whatnot. This is great. This is like a little pressure release valve here. So if you need to open it. So now that I just released all the pressure, I'm going to put the pressure back. It does have a max fill right here. I don't know if you can see that. You do not want to overfill if you do get this. Do not overfill because it does need air, a certain amount of airspace to create like that air pressure. So it says like 15 pumps to prime it, but I do it until I can't anymore. And I haven't broken it yet. It also has an adjustable mister, so you can make it really, really pointed or super, super wide and fine. So you're gonna take your mister, and it's so nice. It's just a touch of a button, not hard to press down at all. Look at that. If that isn't satisfying. So, and it lasts quite a long time, like a long way. So we'll see if we can do the whole tray. The soil is already wet, so what we're doing is we're just really watering in and moistening the seeds that we've planted in here. We're not trying to get the water all the way down to the bottom. Still going. All right, I'm gonna stop there, but so guys, yeah, I cannot recommend this enough if you are starting seeds or if you have indoor houseplants that don't need like a giant ton of water. Super, super great. All right, I'm gonna throw a humidity dome on this, and then we're gonna pop it up under a light and call it a day. So hopefully this works. Oh, perfect. So that was my seedling update and how I plant even more seeds. It is February 10th today, so I will obviously be giving you more seedling updates. If you want to follow me on my Instagram, I do post a little bit more on there, more seedling updates, product reviews. No, I'm just kidding. I don't buy that much. I mean, I did just buy this, but the last ones I bought were years ago, I feel like. But anyway, highly recommend this. I wish I had like a discount code or something, but maybe in the future, maybe future Liz will look back on this and be like, that was sweet. But anyway, I recommend that, and plant seeds, guys. Plant seeds. It's so much fun, and you just can never leave your house. You just can never leave your house because you have to water them and stare at them all day. And it's like a little bit of therapy coming down here and just watering away. I highly recommend, highly recommend. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Please follow along. Click the bell icon to get notified when I do upload. I usually upload every Sunday morning. So keep an eye out for those. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.